Have you ever been intimate with someone who has a disability, like a wheelchair user? If so, what was your experience like? If not, would you consider it? 1. I dated a blind girl for a bit. She did that thing of touching your face to see what you looked like, but she wanted to see what I looked like everywhere. That was fun. Less fun was when her service dog thought her noises meant she was in distress. 2. My girlfriend is blind. The only real difference is that if I want to do something unusual or unprecedented, I have to announce it before doing it. Alright, there's also a story. She lost her sight in a vehicle accident before I met her. I didn't ask for details about it, so I figured the impact of the accident severed her retinal nerves or something, leaving her with non-functioning eyes. The first time we got busy, she said, "My eyes are itching. I gotta take them out." So yeah, she had prostheses, which she then removed. I'm a trooper, but it's hard to look directly at a couple of empty red holes where eyes are supposed to be, particularly during sexy time. So I turned my head away, it's not like she could tell, and looked at the nightstand, where a pair of disembodied glass eyes were staring right back at me. 3. I had a one-night fling with a girl who had one leg amputated. It was a little strange, I guess, because I found out once we were in bed and I felt plastic under her jeans, not in the club. On the other hand, I could understand how that's a difficult thing to say when you're just having a casual conversation over loud music. Otherwise, it was fun. She was beautiful. 4. I dated a girl at university who had lost one eye to an infection as a baby. She wore a very convincing glass prosthetic. She was very good-humored about it. If people were curious, she'd pop it out to show them. And while we were dating, she would sometimes leave the spares lying around places she knew I'd find them, then joke about having eyes everywhere. Anyway, one time, we were getting hot and heavy. I'm doing her from behind, and at one point, her eye flies out and hits the metal bedpost. I literally heard the tink it made and almost stopped, but she just told me to keep going. It made me fucking jump when she turned around afterward, which she of course found hilarious. 5. I had a few classes with a woman with a spinal cord injury from a horseback riding fall when she was a girl. Hooked up after a party I went to in her dorm building. She was really fun and witty and hit on me in a straightforward way that took me off guard and honestly was really sexy. It was honestly a really fun and normal experience. The segs were normal, but her attitude and confidence about everything really made it so fun. Just a one-time thing. 6. A friend of mine had both of her legs amputated due to an accident. In the aftermath, her fiancé left her and her family and friends kind of stepped up to help out however we could. Long story short, 6 months later we found ourselves alone in her place after a night of hanging out with friends. I said something like, "Do you need me to do anything?" And she said, "I dunno, fug me?" Which was said sarcastically because she's always been that kind of person, but I said, "Sure." We became friends with benefits that night and for the next few months until she was ready to start dating again. She's now married to a wonderful guy. 7. I was once with a friend who was a dwarf, but also had a bad leg and a crooked back, giving her next to no mobility. She was an ex of a crappy friend of mine and she invited me to a house party. The house party was rated for noise and underage drinking and her mom picked us up and took us back to their place. Her mom went upstairs to sleep immediately after we got there. Right on the couch, she looked at me. "I've always wanted you," she said. Well, poop, I wasn't going to choose that moment to practice any prejudice or morals. I don't know if it was because she truly was really worked up over me, or the woman just had winning genetics downstairs. But never before or again since have I experienced the same combination of wet and tight. I had to stop every 10 strides to keep from making a fool of myself. After explaining myself, this only made things more intense for us both. I think it was 5 minutes, haha. We graduated shortly after that. She got married and had twins despite being told by doctors her whole life she wouldn't bear children. 8. I've been with a deaf woman. They are extremely loud. 9. An old coworker of mine picked up a girl at a bar who didn't have any arms, basically just down from her shoulders, no elbows. She was super cute and he said she undid his belt with her toes. He had nothing but great things to say about her. 10. I had segs with a guy with narcolepsy once. He passed out immediately after coming. And then got all embarrassed about it. Very weird. Do not recommend. The passing out I was cool with, the denying it and then getting mad at me afterwards was not. 11. Yes. I'm a segs worker, and I do not discriminate against people with disabilities or physical differences. I've seen amputees, paraplegics, little people, blind people, deaf people, even really sick people who needed to use oxygen tanks during segs. None of it was very different from having segs with fully able, standard issue folks. Sometimes in the case of paralyzed people or amputees, I have to do more of the maneuvering/positioning, or physically support them during the act, but that's really the only difference I can think of. In my experience, blind men are obsessed with eating pussy, like more so than sighted men, even. Kinda makes sense, if you experience the world through smell/touch/taste/sound, oral is probably the height of intimate stimulation.